Hello, good evening, and welcome to the second live show of the Dead Readers League. And tonight we are going to talk about the translated version of Noli Tangere by Maria Guerrero, and of course the Secret History by Donna Tartt. So the way this live show will go, I wait before we're going to start. I'm going to introduce Q. Q, introduce yourself.
Hi guys, it's Q from Neverland is Dreaming. Thanks for having me today.
Yeah, please follow her on Instagram. Her post is amazing. And
Thank
you mainly
you.
focus on like the dark academia aesthetic, like most
Yes.
of your posts from what I've noticed.
Yeah,
Yeah, okay. So,
majority.
yeah. Also, if you don't know me, which is, of course, my name is Moon, and welcome again to the live show. So, the way this live show will go, first of all, we are going to talk about the secret history. Actually, this live show, we're going to mainly focus on the secret history. We're going to talk about the characters, plot, the writing style, and our overall thoughts for the book, of course, just like the other live shows. And also, lastly, we're going to make comparisons about the English version of the Noli Me Tangere and the Filipino one, which is the one used in schools. So let's go to the Secret History by Donna Tartt. So let's go first with the characters. So of course, let's start with Richard, which is the main character. So what do you think about the main character, Q?
Okay, so starting off with Richard Papin. My
Mm-mm.
first impression of him was that uh, he started off a really dull character, which is, to be honest, relatable.
Yes.
Relatable, especially if I grew up in the province myself,
Mm-mm.
and when he talked about piano like being like a really small area that was he's just there, he's existing, and he has a passion for liberal arts.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, he was quite a very memorable character to me. And then he had the opportunity to go to a very far away academy.
Mm-mm.
I think that he was one of the best main characters because I the way the author wrote him, I could feel and see what he's seeing, and I think that's a really nice thing to have. I felt very connected to the book.
Yes. Actually, we have the same thoughts. Richard as a character, he is great. Like he is just well written. Like the way he sees things, I really like that because even though like he's dull at the beginning, I was able to feel something still. Like yung parang ganon. Sorry,
Yeah.
I'm rambling. Anyway, also it's quite weird kasi it took me like a few pages before I knew his name. Like
Really?
yeah, it's really difficult to remember. I have this thing like if the character's name was not mentioned in like the very first page, I would find it really difficult to remember. Mas una ko pang na-remember ang other characters kaysa sa kanya, which is worrying, like the name of other characters. But
To
yeah,
be fair, they didn't really call him until until a few pages later. He just said it once in
yeah,
the very beginning. That's it.
and parang na-slip siya sa head ko. Like, I just noticed, like, his name, like, a few pages, like, eventually.
After na, ayun
Yeah,
na.
after na marami na siyang na-narrate, marami na siyang nasabi. Kaya mo siya nakilala. So, anyway, yun lang about Richard, no? He is a very well-written character overall, and I really enjoyed reading his character. Yeah.
Oh, and also like very relatable point. Also, I want to point out as a lot of people get his last name wrong or his
Mm-mm,
first name.
mm-mm,
Like I swear, I remember there would be times na ang dami nilang sinabi hindi pa naman tama yung
mm-mm.
pangalan. Pepin, Richard, hindi nga Richard. I forgot what was that. That Bunny said. I think. Yeah, it was that character who kept on mispronouncing his name.
Yeah, well, to be fair, he rarely like talks about
Yung-
like his name a lot, like because most especially when he entered like the class, like the elite class, like he feels left out, diba? Yun yung parang persona
Yeah,
niya
that
the
was.
whole time. Kasi he feels that the other kids in that class are richer than him. That's why medyo siya meek compared sa other characters, in my
Oh yeah,
opinion.
he wouldn't. Yeah, he would at first he wouldn't actually share where he was from, or if he
Mm,
if I recall, he said something about like he would make a persona. Yeah, you're right. He would make a persona, uh,
mm,
maybe fit a few details here and there. He would say he would just gloss over everything, which is
mm,
I feel like it's natural response, I guess. Or once you're around all of these elite people who are like asking you, oh, where are you from? Who are your parents? What do they do? It's a little
mm.
intimidating. I feel that.
Yeah, that's so true. Anyway, we have a comment from Sha. So, can you guys give a scenario where Richard shows her his personality? Hmm.
Hi, Sha. It's my friend.
It's your friend. Anyway, so
Hi. Okay,
hi.
a scenario where I think from off the top of my head, he shows his personality in the beginning of the novel where he introduces himself and he says his life story about living in a small state, and
Mm-mm,
he knows every corner of that state. He described the weather, which is really hot, and everyone knows everyone. And the image of his state conjures up drive-ins and gas stations and uh, just the same old people. The TV running at Sunday. He's just lying there watching, and then he would read.
mm-mm,
It's a very very normal day-to-day life of a student who's
mm-mm.
wanting more.
Yeah. So yeah, that's basically Richard in a nutshell. I don't have any scenarios because it's quite similar to you, eh. Kasi the way Richard is the first, most especially in the very first part, he is like in the background just studying and just like watching the other kids, like the other characters with doing their own thing. And even when he's in the group, like he's still like this reserved character compared to like the others, because the others are very, very passionate about the stuff that they're learning, which we're going to talk about later because they are very, very passionate about
Wouldn't
that
you
stuff.
say he was actually the observer character? Siya
Yeah,
ba
he
yun?
is the
Yun yun, di ba?
he is the
He
observer
is the
character.
observer
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
character.
That's the word I'm looking for, which is really strange because that's a gone. Okay. So we also have a comment from Fatnik23. So what book you talking about? We're actually talking about The Secret History by Donna Tartt. Anyway, so I think that's all about Richard. So let's go to, of course, our favorite character of the book, which is Henry. Henry. So what do
Huh.
you think about Henry?
I off the top of my head, I was really blown away when he was introduced. He was introduced alongside all of the other students of Professor Julian.
Mm-mm,
uh, him being the tall, brooding, dark-haired character who's always wearing black, as they all are. And
mm-mm.
I actually told Moon before. I was like, I really thought with the way he was described, he seemed really handsome, and I was like,
Yeah, he is
he
handsome.
seemed really handsome. It's like I feel like if I had an image of him in my head, he'd be really handsome and at the same time quite intimidating because he would have this scowl on his face or something
Mm-mm,
like serious face, but very passionate about Greek, about
mm-mm,
liberal arts. um I also found, but although I did find like what do you call this, first impressions don't really last long, because although I found him really handsome at first, him being rude according to Richard, when he met him, and also grilled him over the oh, did you read Plato, or did you read this and that.
mm-mm.
I was finally intimidated. I was just like, oh no, this guy this guy knows his stuff. He's gonna call him out.
Yeah, like Henry is that person in class who is always a straight A person. Do you get what I mean? Like he
Yeah,
always gets straight A's and sometimes corrects others in a way in which a little bit insulting to people,
true.
most especially when he corrects Bunny. Like, do you notice that? The way he
Yeah,
talks to Bunny, like, para kang
it's a
salot sa
bit
lipunan.
condescending.
Yeah.
I
The
would
way he,
call it condescending.
mm. So what I like about Henry is that he is very passionate about the things that he is learning. Like, it's really rare to see someone very immersed with what he is learning in class. Yung parang lifeblood niya talaga, yung liberal arts. Yung parang hindi siya mabubuhay kapag wala yun. Which is really fascinating to see because I think the last time I have seen that passion with regards to liberal arts is in the Dead Poet Society. Because the Dead Poet Society, I've seen the movie first before I was able to read the book. So, yun, parang ang passionate ni Henry with regards to liberal arts, I can see it with some of the characters in the Dead Poet Society. But mas intense talaga si Henry eh, with regards
Yeah,
to that kind of stuff, which is great. So we have a comment from your friend again. Sorry, um I have I have only watched the movie of the perks of being a work wallflower, so I don't know. I don't remember the characters.
and neither of I haven't watched it either.
I'm really sorry. We can't answer
Mm.
that question. So anyway, so I think that's it. So what can you add more about Henry?
Um, yeah, I just wanted to build on what you said, that it's very rare to see someone who is very passionate about their or what the thing that they love, because I feel like in uh, I feel like it's a little refreshing to see for me in the book, because some in our modern society, we're always thinking about the balance, right? And here comes this character, this guy who really puts all of his heart and soul into liberal arts, and he so much that he even lives it until the very end. I
Mm-mm.
feel that it's almost radical. I don't know if that's the word,
Yeah,
but it's almost
somewhat.
radical. Yung pag-follow niya.
Mm-mm.
It's I feel like it's amazing, but at the same time, whoa, at the same
Yeah,
whoa.
it is a little bit intense at
Yeah,
some
it
point.
is. Yeah,
Yung
sometimes
parang,
it's sobrahan. That's
yeah,
true.
boy, you should live a life like separate yourself
Breathe, my
from
guy.
the yeah, yun yung parang vibes ko sa kanya. But the thing is, he really loves liberal arts kasi. So I understand why he is like that. Yung parang sobrang, his life is so attached to it.
And
That's why
maybe
I
because
think,
he
mm,
feels like it understands him, or it's something he understands. Because uh, I think, yeah, you did mention that at one point he didn't realize that people have landed on the moon. Was that
yeah,
it, right?
there is a
Yeah.
scene.
So that particular scene when I literally said that, oh, he was living under a rock. Maybe that's why, there are some people who find it difficult to live in modern society, and we see that we see that
Yeah.
with him.
Yeah.
I guess
It's
liberal arts is something that's old, right? So
mm,
probably that's why he understands it the most.
actually it's um at the current moment, I have seen like people on YouTube, like they are living in the old lifestyle. Like there are people living like a Victorian, like seryoso, like they
Oh,
are wearing the clothes, their home only has electricity for light bulbs and stuff. Like they really follow the Victorian life. So
the
parang
vintage style. Yeah,
yeah, like literal
that's
vintage
so cute,
talaga.
by the
Hindi lang
way.
yung clothes, like ang yung the bicycles as well, the vehicles that they're using, it's quite similar to the Victorian era, which when I saw that, the only thing I can remember is Henry, because they are quite similar on that aspect that they are living in a specific type of like era because that's the thing that they love to do. Like it's really fascinating to see that people have this guts to live like that, most especially that the society is a very judgmental. The society is very judgmental.
Oh yeah, definitely. I
Mm.
think I think a lot of I actually do follow a handful of vintage YouTubers.
Mm-mm.
I do love
Oh,
watching them. Uh, Off the top of my head, Jasmine Chiswell, I think she's the one who she looks like Marilyn Monroe, and there
wait,
is
is
uh,
that wait? She is pregnant right now, no?
yeah, she's pregnant right
We're
now.
following the same
Yeah, that's
YouTuber.
her. Yeah,
I
and
actually,
also Carolina Zebraska. She's a fashion historian.
I wait. Is that the one who lives in Poland?
Yes, yes.
Oh my gosh, I'm sorry. I'm really, really bad at names. Like I can only remember what they're doing in YouTube. Like that's my weakness. I can't remember names properly.
It's okay. It's fine because to be
Yeah,
honest, like there's a lot of them. Yeah,
yeah.
actually, I think what they I did remember that one of them said that they really like the aesthetic of it.
Mm-mm.
Love the fashion, but not the history. I think
Yeah,
that's what
that's
they
true.
meant.
Which is
Except that they're doing it now, as in like now, and then there here comes Henry, who's like way back. He's like back in Greece.
yeah, like the way he thinks is strange, but at the same time, it's also fascinating to see. I actually wanted to read a passage or a page all about his thoughts. Like maybe like, I just want to know how his head works because out of all of them, I think Henry has the most fascinating brain.
The
Because
way
at
he thinks
least
is definitely something. Yeah, I agree.
the second fascinating is the twins because like okay, what do you think about the twins?
No, oh no, I don't think you can mention it.
Why?
Oh, um, okay. Ah, wait. Okay. What do I do remember about Charles and Camilla is
Mm-mm,
that what I do really remember about was the Camilla reciting a passage in class and how Richard said that she looked like a Flemish angel, and I was like, whoa. And I read
yeah.
that part, I was like, I see. And although I had a feeling like no matter how beautiful, actually, I do remember Camilla the most.
Mm-mm,
Uh, she's so beautiful and yet so refined, like a vintage beauty, a medieval beauty to be more exact. Uh, Very beautiful to look at, but I wouldn't really understand or know what's going on in her mind. Like I had no
mm-mm,
idea that she was suffering, or she was going through something until the very end when and in the ending when we find out what she's been up to,
mm-mm,
and I realized, wow, she really didn't say anything. And
mm-mm.
for the other for her brother naman, man, Charles really needed a friend.
Yeah, Charles
Yeah,
needed
that's
a
what I remember. He really needed a friend. He kept on telling Richard, he was like, you're not going to betray me, right? You're not gonna leave me alone, or you're not going to antagonize me. And I was like, yo, what?
yeah. I think Charles and Camilla needs a hug.
They
The
do.
both
They
of them.
most definitely do. Yes, I agree with you.
Like out of all of them, they were like these sweet like angels compared to the others. Most especially,
They look beautiful,
yeah,
right?
they look
But
beautiful.
may pinagdaanan pala. They were going through something.
Yeah, actually, when I first like, I need to say this. When I first read like Charles and Camilla, the very first thing that went inside my head.
Wait, oh my god, I'm getting nervous. Okay.
I do you watch Game of Thrones?
I don't, but I have heard a lot of things from my friends, so I might not be that surprised if you say.
Oh my god! Like the only thing that comes is
Oh.
Jamie and Cersei. Like I was really
Ah,
hoping. I hope no incest, please. Because I,
no,
the,
Lord, that was what I was gonna say.
no, because like Bunny tried, and is it Bunny? Bunny tried to imply that they have this relationship that kind of
Yeah, I
relationship
think
like Charles and
yeah.
Camilla. So I was like, oh no, is it like JB and Cersei? No, I was like,
Yeah.
and a description made by Richard, like the only thing that comes into my mind is they look like Jamie and Cersei.
Oh Lord.
Like that's why I was scared when I first read them. Like I hope God there is no
And
something.
girl, you hoped so hard, but it happened anyway.
Yeah, I was like,
Right? No, I swear I read that passage, that part when um Charles was already spiraling out of control,
no.
and then he comes visit, and then that happens. I went straight to my friend. I was just like, oh God, we have a situation.
Yeah,
I was
which
like,
is
it happened.
yeah, and I was like, no, like please, like
Here's the
okay.
thing though. What did it the reason why it happened was because of the bacchanalia thing. I think that's what I remembered. The reason why they tried it was because of that. Or am I messing up my facts? I'm not really sure.
I can't remember as well, but
Hmm.
don't think so. I think it's a different scene. But anyway, it happened. So
Unless my mind was probably telling me, you know what, let's just forget it ever happened.
yeah, I actually forget. Like I don't want to remember.
It's like okay, like, moving on, guys.
So yeah, oh my god, your Esha commented, bro, medieval angels look ugly sa paintings. I'm so
I'm so
sorry.
sorry. I think when sabi nila was the Flemish angels. It's the really what they call this. It's the art style that makes
Mm-mm.
them look like cherubic cherubs.
Mm.
The baby angels with the small wings and the golden curls. Not what you're talking about. I definitely remember that medieval paintings look really weird.
Yeah, medieval paintings in general look weird, but anyway, so
Anyways,
let's move on. So let's go to Francis. Is it Francis?
Francis.
Francis? Yep. Yeah. What do you think of him?
He feels very flighty, like a breeze.
Mm,
Um, this guy comes and goes as he pleases. I mean, I do remember the first time he met Richard. He was just
mm-mm,
like, "Hi, my name is Francis, and I know your name. Okay, let's go." I go, oh, okay, great. And then suddenly he becomes more apparent during like the latter part of the
mm,
book. I was very not surprised. I wasn't really paying attention. Maybe I wasn't paying attention as much, but when he came out to
yeah.
Richard, I was just like, oh, okay.
Here,
Yeah, it's kind suddenly his actions kind of pieced together more easier because I felt like he was a really flighty person. But no, 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 he wasn't. He's
mm.
just like that.
Yeah, here's the thing. Off bat, I know his sexuality. I don't know. There's just something ringing inside my head when I think about Dark Academia. It is usually these things are in there. So I was like,
Hmm.
okay, one of these characters are their sexuality is like that because most of the Dark Academia books I've read is there is a character, and yes, I'm right. It's Francis
Francis.
because I kept on
I
thinking, is it Henry? No, it's not Henry. It's
no.
not Charles. It's not Camilla. So I think it's Francis, and I think the way he acts is also like very stereotypical in my opinion.
Good that you actually
Mm,
caught on with it because I really wasn't. I didn't realize until the very like the part where he I don't really remember, but I did realize like bantang sa ending na I was like,
mm-mm.
okay, okay.
Yung may na-happen between, joke lang.
Yeah.
Are we gonna spoil?
Yeah. I think we're thinking of the same thing.
Yeah. So, let's talk about lastly. I know there is a teacher, but I don't know if you want to talk about because he's okay, the teacher. But
He's
let's
just
talk
there.
about Bunny. So, what do you
Ah,
think about Bunny?
uh, I don't know
Is
how
it
else to say this, but
is it bad that
um,
I think he deserves to die.
I wouldn't say. Yeah, here's the thing. That's where the moral ground got hit, right? Because I
Yeah.
wouldn't wish. I think it would be bad to wish death on anyone in particular. Like it's more pain. It's more painful to live. That's the greatest punishment is to live or to atone for your sins. That's what I think. But uh, my first impression for him, like personally, he is. I would always remember that part when he took Richard out. That was they had lunch, or they
Mm-mm.
went to eat out, and then he
Yeah.
dumps the the bill on him. He said like, "Oh, I don't
Yeah.
have any money." I was just like, "Oh no 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 no
Yeah.
no!" I was like, "No, that is a big red flag." I think immediately right then and there I realized that this guy doesn't have any money. He's
Mm-mm.
just living off of other people. He looks rich. He might have been rich at once, but he's definitely not rich now. And
Yeah.
he's banking out of other people. And I was really also like, I know that he was, he passed away. He died in the
Mm-mm.
beginning of the book because they said it. But when once you realize why, no, that's because he's really loud, diba?
Mm.
He talks really loud, and he's not exactly really careful with the way he talks.
He's not careful. Like,
Yeah. Wala siyang tactless siya
mm-mm.
when he talks. Like, and also, I couldn't blame him. Like, that part when Henry was like, "Oh, I didn't want to." I caught Bunny, um,
Mm-mm.
eating a cheeseburger in the middle of the bacchanal, and I didn't want him to ruin it. And I was like, I can't blame him. I can't fault him for that because we're all human, and not everyone has the will to fast. So,
Yeah.
but the other parts, like for example, uh threatening, not threatening, like blackmailing everyone into uh, spending for him by
Mm.
talking really loudly about that incident. I feel like
Yeah.
was a very, very like rude move. Like, no, you don't do that. You don't get to do that. You were there.
Most especially the Italy one, no? Like that is like
Yeah.
the worst like part of the book for me because I feel sad for Henry during that time. Kasi like the way he is talking, he is also somewhat struggling, 'di ba? With financial
Yeah.
stuff, yeah. As well as Francis, even though that he is rich, like his family is threatening to like not release him money anymore kasi he is spending way too much and it's because of Bunny all along.
Tapos siya pa yung nabintangan. He was the one who was blamed for it pa. Sabi nila na, baka he's doing like illegal substances. If I remember, if I recall, I think it
Mm-mm,
was someone's mother
mm-mm,
thought that they were dealing that,
mm,
and then cut them off, and when they can't say anything
mm-mm.
because the circumstances are also just as dire. I thought yeah, you're right though. Like the Italy thing, the Italy trip was horrendous.
Yeah, it is horrendous. Like I just can't see like a person in real life doing that, but considering as to how shitty the world is, I think there is a person out there who is like that
Yeah.
in my
Who
personal
would
opinion.
definitely take advantage. Like I
Yeah.
think I think for like I'm not, maybe it's because like Bunny grew up rich, and when his father lost, yeah, his banker father lost the finances.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, baka dun siya nag-struggle because suddenly he can't spend as much as he can anymore. So but he doesn't know anything else but to be rich.
Yeah, what I don't like
Diba?
about parents though is that they still send their kids to like very very expensive schools knowing that they cannot afford it. Like have you noticed the trend?
Mm-hmm.
And like I just can't imagine like how are they living when they don't have like a source of income? Like they're just leeching out of other people. Like how can a person live like that?
Hmm. They make ways definitely. I can't imagine it myself. Maybe because meron silang maybe pride on their
Mm-mm.
image, maybe kasi they're an old money family. Meron
Mm-mm.
silang ano. Because I do remember that like Henry and the others, they they rely on family wealth. So they don't have a job like Richard. They didn't have to work during the summer.
Mm.
Yeah, I think
They don't
that's
have
the
to
reason
sleep
why.
on a very cold warehouse.
Yeah, they did have to catch pneumonia.
Teacher while sleeping on the cold warehouse.
That's true. Yeah, like they don't know that. And then
Mm.
I think also like I the way they spend the money like this, they just spend it willy-nilly.
Mm.
Kaya ko to, kaya natin yan i-spend. Like I can bring you to this country like in a snap of a finger. I was like, wow, okay.
Sana all.
That's sana all. Yun nga eh.
What I also don't like about Bunny is that he looks down on women. Like most especially when he talks about his girlfriend, like he talks about women as if their only purpose in life is to be a housewife,
Trophy wise,
which
stuff
is
like that.
not a bad thing necessarily because there are women out there, most especially women in Eastern Europe um who loves working at home, who loves being housewives. But the way he said it kasi, it's very derogatory. It's very degrading. Sorry. Yeah.
Also, just to point out that I do realize or remember a passage in the book. Uh, I, I'm not sure if I can recall correctly who said this, but he said like, "Oh, you want the real girl." I was like, then they clarified what the real girl is, like beautiful and quiet. I think that was what the words
I
were.
wait, I think it's Bunny
Ah, there we go.
because
Man, I
it's
really wanted to smack him at that point.
Camilla, I think it's because of Camilla. Camilla talked back. I don't know, Camilla did something. And then Henry, sorry. And Bunny was like, women should be like women should be like, and it's like, okay, sure.
Hmm. Hmm.
Okay. Okay, if you say so, Bunny. And I was like, when he died, okay, I'm sorry, God, but he deserved it. And besides, he's a fictional character, so I'm fine.
He's fine. Like to be honest, like I understand why they're mad at him. I really do. I understand why they're mad at him. I understand why they keep him at like an arm's length all the time. Because he's really overbearing. He's loud. He's tactless. And
Mm-mm.
holy crap, he's annoying.
Yeah, he is annoying.
He really is. So I'm just like, I wouldn't wish death on anyone, but perhaps,
Perhaps.
perhaps. Anyways.
So I think that's the main characters. So we have Richard, Henry, Charles and Camilla, and Bunny and Francis. So do you want to talk about other characters but more cute?
Ah, about the professor, which is I was very surprised, or okay, I was maybe the right words would be I really expected that this professor would be a little different in the way he teaches his students. And I do remember that he holds his classes inside his office, which
Yeah.
is which is really beautiful according to Richard, and that they have tea in the middle of their classes, and it's a very open discussion, open table type. And I'll be honest, I really wish I had a class like that because
It's
I feel like I
actually
would learn more.
it's actually very similar to, I mean, not similar, but the teaching style. I think it's quite similar to the Dead Poet Society, which they have this open discussion about stuff. But I think, isn't like liberal arts like that? Like most classes in liberal arts?
I personally I attended a business school, so it was a strictly like business style, very standardized. But I do remember going to literature class as an elective,
Mm-mm.
and yeah, I feel like although we didn't have an open table discussion sort, In my
Mm-mm.
university, we were open to voice our opinions anytime, and we were
Mm-mm.
discussing the Iliad of all things.
Yeah, I also attended like a literature course. I think it was I was also from a business school. So when I entered like that literature class, it was very different. Like the way the teacher handled things, it's really really different because discussion is encouraged most of the time. Did you notice
Oh
that?
yeah, yeah,
Like,
yeah.
most especially when you were talking about poems, like your opinions matter. Like that's what I've noticed.
Suddenly
No
you're just like,
matter
"Ooh."
how far etched your opinions are, if it is somewhat connected to the poems that you're reading or the stories that you're reading that day, the teacher will accept it. That's what I've noticed.
Yeah, definitely. Like,
Mm,
it's there's no all our answers would be accounted for. There's no
mm,
right or wrong. There's no hard truth or something like. And I think my most favorite thing about that was that when your ideas are welcome. I think that's the appeal of the liberal arts for me is your ideas are welcome because they exist. Definitely
yes,
just because of that.
yes, which is
And
great.
And is it me? I'm just saying, but I
Mm,
did not. I don't. He was a mentor figure, and a lot. He was a mentor figure to the students, and I understand that a lot of them relied on him for a lot of things. Mainly also for not only academic but also sometimes emotional support, I guess. Uh, so when he left at the end of the book for reasons, I didn't blame him at all because outside of he has his own life as a scholar. He also has his reputation,
mm,
and I didn't blame him at all, although I felt sad also.
mm. Yeah, but to be honest, I don't really see his character to be. I mean, he did teach the characters of the book, but I don't see his character particularly important, in my personal opinion, because the story mainly revolves around the morality as to what they have done to Bunny and the
Yeah,
and the things that and as to how they applied the teachings that the professor has given them. Or yeah, I don't really see him as an important character.
I think his importance lies in the fact that he was the one who brought all of them together. I think that's
Mm,
it. Yeah, it was because of his class and his insistence of having only 6 students, 6 pupils, and then oh yeah, that also the other thing about he was like
mm.
saying like we should only have one teacher that teaches me, and I was like, huh?
Yeah, and like how do you grade Lugar? Like that's what I'm thinking when I was reading that. I was like, so how?
How? Yeah, like if you're gonna teach everyone, you're gonna teach all of the
Mm,
curriculum, basically the entire curriculum, but French, apparently.
yeah.
Um, how? Yeah, you're right. How? Like you would only see like one facet. How would? Yeah, he was like saying like, what was that line? I'm not sure if I'm paraphrasing this. He said that. Too many teachers will confuse a young mind. I was like, but how? You're just one person. You're just one perspective.
Yeah. Which I get his point, but actually having a lot of teachers will help you, most especially like in my opinion, because you're going to see different perspectives, different ideas, which can help you like move in life. That's what I think most of the time. So I don't really see that line as particularly good.
True, yeah.
Most especially
Maybe in the
when
Greek time, yes, but
yeah,
not in that society. Definitely not in the society. Even if it's the early 1990s,
80s. I think
80s,
it was
yeah.
80s in my
It was the 80s. Definitely not in that time because by that time I think people were aware that the more perspectives you have, the better for you to improve.
yeah.
Then everyone is stuck in the past.
Yeah, Henry needs a lot of perspectives aside from the teacher, because the professor is like condoning his behaviors, like he's accepting who is Henry, which is great because at least someone is accepting as to what makes Henry as a human being. But the thing is, how will Henry survive in the real world if he will not be able to see like other perspectives? I think that's the main reason as to why, because Henry is well loved by the professor. So um how will Henry go like move forward if he's not able to see other perspectives, diba? Just like we talked about earlier, he is very judgmental, most especially if someone will make something that is not in accordance with what he is thinking. Do you notice that?
Mm-mm. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I think the main reason as to why he is like that, because the teacher is condoning his actions and actually praising the way he thinks.
Oh, I think I do remember something that supports that. In the earlier part of the books, I think there was a part that there was a sentence by Richard he was retelling what the professor said. He said that wanders. A
Mm,
modern mind wanders, it questions, while their type, the philosophical mind, is narrow, not hesitating, and just goes from point A to point B.
mm,
That was what he taught them, and I was like, I think that's exactly what Henry is, isn't it? He's
yeah,
like that, right? His mind never wanders. He never thinks. He never thinks. He not that he doesn't think twice, but once he makes up his mind, he goes through with it, no matter what, because he
mm,
has to. He's like, I'm gonna do this.
yeah.
Here's what I said. I'm gonna do this.
Mm-mm. So yeah, I think that's it with the characters. The characters in this book is, I think, what makes the book good. Even though the plot is really good, in my opinion, but the characters what makes the book good. You know, the good one, which is a lot of
Good.
oh, like good. That's good.
Good.
They are very interesting. If you're going to like understand just one character in the book, it's going to take a lot of like thinking because they are very different. They think different. They came from different backgrounds, different families, and the way they think through things are very interesting. But I think Henry is the most interesting one.
And to think that despite their differences, they became close knit. Although
Yeah,
not ideally, not an ideal way, but they became close knit anyway. So
yeah,
this goes to show, that different people with different backgrounds can get along, hopefully better than they did.
yeah. Hopefully, hopefully. So now
Hopefully.
that's it with the characters. Oh my god, we have talked about the characters for 40 minutes. Like, oh my gosh, I think that's the longest time that I have talked about characters in my
That's
channel.
how much we love it.
So, anyway, are you hearing noises? Because someone is karaokeing, doing
Oh,
karaoke.
very faint lang naman.
Ah, very faint. Okay, it's fine. So, let's go to the plot. The plot. So, what are we going to talk about the plot? Because I think we have mixed like the characters and the plot. But okay, how about this? What is your favorite part of the plot, or how do you think the flow of the flow of the plot? How is it? Like, is it great? Is it bad? Like, what do you think about it?
Okay, I thought about this long and hard. I'm glad you asked.
Yes.
To be
Okay.
honest, I thought about it long and hard, but I think the best part for me, like, is the moment of realization about what happened.
Mm,
That part where no one told Richard what happened, but he had an inkling about what happened, and then once he finds out the truth, and then even as a reader, all of the things just click into place, and suddenly you're horrified, but at the same time you're just like, wow, it makes sense. Oh no.
yeah. Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the greatest part as well for me. Like, it's just this whole, like parang gumaganon yung plot,
No, yeah.
yung ideas mo, and then boom, suddenly like everything makes sense. Yeah, I understand why is that your favorite part as well. Also, my favorite part is when they describe yung part na parang yung nag-hallucinate na sila parehos.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that because the feelings that I have felt during that time is very intense when I read that scene.
As if you're in the fever dream too,
Yeah.
wasn't
Yeah, as if I'm in a fever
yeah.
dream. Like the feeling of you're not able to see or like think properly as to what you are doing. That's scary. In my opinion,
Super.
that's scary. Yeah.
Sometimes
Also,
I don't understand what they meant that they some people wish to lose themselves. But when these people lost themselves, they were running around the woods in
yeah,
sheets, right?
yeah,
And I'm just like, do you wanna? That doesn't sound like fun.
yeah, it doesn't
It don't
sound like
sound like
fun, and
fun.
it is not fun because just the
Yeah,
idea of like almost naked running around like your thoughts are not in the right place. That's scary. Like, but at the same time, like it is also very interesting to see, in my opinion,
yeah,
because it's very
definitely.
like the thing about this book is that the plot does not like what do you think? It's not linear. Do you get what I mean? Like there are
Hmm.
many other things happening while like they are reaching the point, like the climax of the book. Like do you get my point? Like there are a lot of things happening. Like aside from killing Bunny, there are other stuff in the background. Like just the yeah. Anyway.
Small bits of scenarios that are basically perhaps maybe there to distract us from finding out too early what happened. No.
But also
Oh, yeah,
ay
you were
sorry,
saying.
sorry. Yeah.
Well,
Also, those little things also contributed a lot as to why they reached that point. Yeah, it's really interesting that there are like subplots within the plot. Like, do you
yeah,
get?
that's kind of yeah,
Yeah,
that's a good way of saying it.
yeah. Also, I really
I
like. Sorry, sorry. Go, go.
you wait, just real quick, but um, I do remember that time when Richard, for some freaking reason, decided to call up the what do you call this the hotel. They're just like
Mhm.
he's like he checked in too early, a day too early. I was just like, why did you do that? Why did you do that?
Yeah, it's
But
quite.
yun pala, they wanted to escape na. Sabi ko, okay, ganun pala yun. Ba't mo ginawa?
Yeah. Also,
I
it's
wonder
really.
why he decided at that point because he said something like he just felt compelled to do it or he was curious.
Oh, doesn't it feel freeing? Yeah, that's what Henry thought so when
Henry.
he tried doing that because he wanted to feel the freedom. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, but from what I can understand, Henry wants to feel the idea of freedom which is not attached to being human but more on being like an animal.
I think that's the reason why they actually felt the deer. I think that's the semblance of the deer. Although it was
Mm,
kind of scary lang kasi. The reason why because we're the ones who's reading, no? We're not the ones experiencing it. So maybe for us reading about their experience would have been really scary, especially since they were chasing, sabi nila, 'di ba? They were chasing a deer,
mm-mm.
not knowing that that deer is actually a person. And they were pretending to be hunters or at least I feel like they were pretending to be hunters. Kaya nakakatakot kasi.
Yeah.
And then when they found the person who said that they were a deer. She had blood in her hair, like what happened to you? No one really knew what happened. So I
Mm-mm.
think that scenario alone, if we're the ones reading, nakakatakot.
Yeah. Also, have you noticed that the plot is also wait, let me get my thoughts straight. Some parts of the plot are are moved because of the literature that they were reading. Of course, like what happened in that scene. But also there are other parts, like I forgot, but there are other parts of the book in which they are moved because of the literature that they were reading in class. I forgot which, but I think there is some parts of the plot in there. The incorporation of the literature in the book is not, it is, what do you call it? It's deliberate because it is connected to the plot.
Mm-mm. It's like art imitates life type of
Mm,
thing.
mm.
And that's how much these students live their lives as, you know, in the arts.
Also,
They
in my
got that
opinion,
dedication.
sorry, it's okay. Is it okay?
Yeah,
Also, in my opinion, it is very. I do you. Is it noisy in my part? Sorry.
I can hear the people singing now.
Sorry. Anyways, so I'm really sorry for that. But yeah, I think Donna Tartt is very, very smart as to how she applies the things that, I think she really studied a lot about literature. Or is she a literature student? I don't know. Because
I
Donna Tartt
think
is a mysterious author. I don't really
yeah, I think I read somewhere that the school in the book was similar to the university that she attended. I
Mm,
believe she might have the reason why she could write this very well is meron siyang background about that.
mm,
Yeah.
yeah.
Because
I'm
I don't
actually looking up like the
yeah,
school. Oh my gosh, yeah. Oh my gosh.
really, di
Yeah,
ba? Tama pala yung
like
nasa ko.
my imagination for the book is similar with her school.
And then because she based it off of where she went to study, so I believe that's the reason why.
I'm shocked. Okay.
Ah,
I felt stupid for not researching about Donna Tartt first.
like, to be fair, like um I just happened across that while I was reading backgrounds or summaries about the book. I just happened across it.
I'm shocked. But anyway, so yeah, I think that's it with the plot because we have mainly talked about it. It was well written, it was well structured, in my opinion. And I really enjoyed reading that. That's nice. So now let's go to the writing style because we have talked about the writing style a lot. So what do you think about the writing style, Q?
Okay, so I would just like to throw it out there. This is my first dark academia style novel, and
Mm,
I have prior to this I have never read anything um as heavy as this. Like the
mm,
closest I've got was I think A Deadly Education by Naomi Novik, but even that was significantly more easier to read. Uh,
mm,
however, I'm glad that I did read this because the writing style of Donna Tartt is not as it's not as daunting or it's not as intimidating as I thought it would be.
same.
It's a very conversational, not conversational, but since we're stuck inside Richard's mind and this guy is a really meek or observant character, we have everything we need. I felt like we had everything we need at that point, at that point in time, but it's not hard to process. The only hard part to process is to piece every single thing that we collected into the bigger picture, which I confess during banda sa huli na, I would
Mm,
have to put my e-reader down and stare at the wall and just think, ah, ayun na pala, that's it. Here it is. This happened. We've been hinted at here and
yeah.
there before. Pero buti na lang, it's not that hard to read. Awa ng Diyos.
What I think about Donna Tartt's writing is that it's not for beginners, for starters.
No, definitely
Because
not.
if a beginner reader would read this book, I don't think they will read again. Because although it's not that hard to read, but it is sophisticated, in my opinion. Like, it
It's
is,
definitely in the adult na mga intermediate, mid-intermediate na siya, I feel.
yeah, it is for readers talaga. Yung people na have read a lot of books, or yung parang hindi na sila manu yung parang matatakot when it comes to reading books. It is not recommended for beginners, in my
Oh yeah.
opinion talaga. Kasi it's sophisticated. And but what I like is it's also very descriptive. Like I aside from the place in which I can picture out in my head, which is one of my favorite things because I love descriptive writing styles. I can also feel what the characters are feeling, like the helplessness, the fear, the way they basta it is very well written in my opinion. And when I am reading the book, I wanted to take things slow. Like I don't want to, like fast read the book because it's like a good cup of coffee that you don't want to like rush to drink, if you get what I mean.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah, so now let's go to our overall thoughts. So what do you think about the book overall?
I love it. I am very happy to have had the opportunity to read it with the club. Uh, and if you're someone who is looking into, if you're a reader actually, and you who has been reading and you want to get into the dark academia like genre, definitely check this out. It's not. It is quite heavy in terms of content, but I assure you, especially for me, I'm a mood reader. If you want something that's easy to read, definitely check this one out. Yeah. Uh, Also, it will keep you engaged. That's all I can say. I couldn't put the book down, I swear.
But other people think the book is boring, which is strange in my opinion. But anyway, we
Hmm.
have different taste in books naman.
Yeah, maybe because I think we something we share in common is we like descriptive writing. I personally don't mind reading descriptive writing. Yeah,
Yeah,
maybe a lot of people are more gusto nila fast
straight
paced,
to the point. Yeah.
straight to the
And
point.
and from what I've noticed, most of the people who said that are those people who loves to read fantasy or thriller. Like thriller is
Hmm.
very fast paced. They
Hmm.
don't really like dwell on descriptions. But on fantasy, I find it really strange. But most fantasy readers don't like it, but maybe it's because it lacks like the world building or the action.
Yep.
Maybe they
Yep.
find it boring. But
Because this one wala siyang magic kasi wala siyang ka-fantasy. It's real. It's like a non-fiction style, diba? I am not sure if this is classified as non-fiction. Please correct me if I'm wrong.
I think
Uh,
it's more on fiction. Wait.
it's
Yeah, it's fiction
yeah,
naman. Oh my god. Hindi siya,
I sorry, no,
hindi
no,
siya,
no, no, no. My thoughts just went. Ooh, it is fiction, but there's no fantasy to it. There's no magic. There's no world building. What's sinabi ko non-fiction?
it's
Please excuse me.
it's okay. I think it's more focused on real people and real lives. So I think that's the thing as to why most people don't really like it. But it's really fascinating to read kasi. So I like it so much. So now let's go to Noli Tangere. This will be very, very brief. We're just going to compare it with the ones that we have been taught back in high school or whatever part of our life is it taught. So what is the difference for you, Q? Or the similarities with the Noli Tangere that is taught in schools?
Okay, first off, I bought the book too. And whoever wants to buy the hard copy, if you're not a fan of small print, I am saying it's just a very small print. um okay, so how do I learned or I read this book during high school, and at that time, of course, it's in Tagalog, and I did not grow up talking or speaking or learning Filipino that well. So I'll be honest, nahirapan ako from understanding or comprehending the story. I do get the gist of it. However, reading it in English was a little bit of an experience because it did bring back memories. It did bring back memories of learning it in an. I wish I had this book as an accompaniment because it was really difficult to grasp a lot of the nuances in my own language, in my own mother tongue. However, what I do really like about this is that it brought a whole new color to the story. Yeah, definitely that especially like the first part when we are introduced. I find the opening of this book incredibly beautiful because mostly because I feel like it's so familiar. Like
Yes.
what do you call it? It's a familiar scene. It's something you would see in the Philippines, and I'm very happy to be able to identify with it at long last. Yeah.
Actually, is it bad that I like this version better than the Filipino?
I
Because
think because no, like to be honest, I get what you mean because you know what, guys. Let's be honest. The Filipino books, it's it's so dense. It's so
yes, it
dense,
is.
super like I even though if it is separated into stanzas, even
Mm-mm.
if it's separated into stanzas, it was so hard to get chapter to chapter. Even if I am myself, I was an avid reader back in the day, like super. I loved it, but I had such a hard time. I don't know. Is this a universal? It is a universal experience.
I don't know. I think what threw me off on learning Noli and Alfili back in high school is that although my Filipino is somewhat okay, but reading it, it's difficult for me. Most especially, like what you said, it's really dense. That's why when I read this book, it's really easy now to understand the whole context of the book. Like, I'm really sorry. Oh my god. You got Jose Rizal.
No, oh, oh Lord, I'm so sorry. But I feel like it's because we have read this in two languages that we finally grasp even down to the nuances. Maybe we don't realize it because we speak both languages. However, I can't say if na-capture nila yung nuance or like this and that because I understand both languages. That's the thing. I understand both languages, so I would be able to grasp it right away. So I would, if ever, if you ask someone who only knows Filipino or the only knows English, maybe they're the ones who can answer the question if nakuha ba nila yung hanggang sa nuance. Am I right? Ayun lang.
But the story in itself, it's, of course, it's the same. But I think the only difference is that we understood the story better now that it is written in English.
I dare say, yeah, actually it's more action packed than what I used to remember it was.
Yeah, I think it's because the way it was translated is it was like translated somewhat similar to like the modern novels, if you get what I mean.
Yeah.
And
It's
it
in a
was, yeah,
very
it was,
modern language.
and also it is binded as well, like a current, like modern time novel. That's why it's easier to read. Like the very first part pa lang, yung parang nag-talk siya regarding sa what is happening in like the party or something. Like
Yeah, yeah, the
it's very easy to like see. It's very easy um to what do you
follow.
call it? Yeah, to follow and also to, oh my god, to imagine. Sorry. Like, yeah,
Okay.
I'm sorry. Also, what I like about this is that my father is actually a history teacher, like what I've told you in the group chat. And actually, like he is very happy that we're able to read a book by Leon Maria Guerrero because he told me that she is one of like the best when it comes to like talking about Jose Rizal's life. So when she really translates stuff, it's great. So I think that's also one of the reasons why we enjoyed reading the translation
So
of the
it's
book.
probably kudos to her skill, diba? Because if she can make modern like like us younger generation understand and enjoy such like dense literature like this,
Mm-mm.
I think that's amazing.
Yeah, it is. So yeah, I think that's it. Oh my god, we have reached an hour.
Ah, this was
So
fun.
yeah, it is fun because we are talking about basically two somewhat old books, which are really, really great, and we enjoyed reading those. So yeah, I think that's the reason why we enjoy talking about this too. So yeah, I think that's it for tonight's live show. Hopefully next time we're going to be more. I hope the others can join us na. Um also thank you for watching. Okay, sorry, I'm distracted. Okay. Also thank you for watching, and I hope we're going to see you in the next one. I think the next live show, I don't think we're going to do something for Alfili because I want it to be mixed just like this one. So most likely our next live show will be in January because we're going to talk about the book that we're going to discuss in January, so that we're going to mix Alfili to avoid complications. So yeah, that's it for tonight's live show. Thank you for watching, guys, and I hope we're going to see you in the next time. Bye, guys.
Bye.
I'm going to end the broadcast and